I love you, I'm just not in love with you. What the hell does that mean? And what do you do? Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Happily Committed channel. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and welcome. If you've already been here before, if you are part of the community, welcome back. If you do not know who I am, my name is Danny, and I'm one of the head coaches here at the Happily Committed Project, as well as one of the head coaches for the With My Ex Again project. And you've probably seen a few of my videos on the Love Advice TV channel. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we at some point in our dating lives have probably heard that phrase before. I love you, I'm just not in love with you, right? And the question becomes, what the hell do we do with that? What does it mean? And what do we do with that? And I get asked that question quite frequently, right? And what it boils down to is one of two things, right? So number one, your partner, right? Your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, when they say that to you, look, I'm in love with you, I'm just not in love with you. When we initially hear that, it's incredibly hard to process and it is confusing because they are saying they love you, but they just don't love you in that way anymore. And it can be very difficult for us to process and understand that. What it usually means is that they have love for you as the person that you are, right? The connection that you guys have at a friendship level, right? More of a platonic type situation where you can have love for a friend or a family member or even a coworker, right? But it does not necessarily mean that you have romantic feelings for that person. And the most confusing part for people during this process is that you did have a romantic relationship and it is just no longer that anymore. It's even more confusing when there has been intimacy between the two of you guys, and now all of a sudden this is being thrown out there. So how do you handle it? How do you unpack that? At the end of the day, your partner telling you this, right, is because they are not either 100% sure of how they are feeling about the situation. They just know that things are different. They just know that they don't feel the same way, that those romantic feelings are not there, that the physical attraction is no longer there. But it is possible that they were convincing themselves that they could make it work. So they try and they put up a front, and there's this facade that they present, right? And that can be very upsetting and frustrating and create a lot of anger and resentment on your end, because why would they lie if that's how they've been feeling this entire time? But again, we have to take into consideration how they handle the situation, how they are processing, and how they are feeling. That does not mean that it doesn't make it any less hurtful, right? Your experience is your experience, and I validate you and I empathize with you because I know how difficult this can be. But what do you do with that? What do you say to that? It is incredibly important, and I highly recommend and invite you to take a step back when that happens. If your partner is telling you that, it is time for you to take a step back, reflect, and prioritize your feelings. Because at this point now, it's going to be very difficult for you to trust whether the relationship will be able to work out beyond this point, because now there is a seed of doubt that has been planted in your mind. And if you try to just full steam ahead, try to make things work, and your partner agrees, look, I don't necessarily love you that way anymore, but let's try, you will potentially lose yourself through that process. So I highly recommend taking a step back, taking time for yourself, letting your partner know that you need time to think and you need time to evaluate. Because now that they have had the opportunity to share with you how they are feeling, it is now important for you to be able to process those feelings and then share your thoughts and your opinions around the situation. If you react immediately, if you try to dig and pry and get answers to your questions, you may not necessarily get it. And to be honest with you, you may get answers that you don't like, or may end up being even worse for you by asking those questions, because they may be completely lost and not exactly know how they are feeling. They're just telling you, hey, this is where I'm at and this is how I'm feeling. They may not fully understand the root of it or why it happened or how they got to that place. And those are all questions that you may want to ask. And if you don't get answers to those questions, it'll be even more frustrating for you in the long run. So take a step back. Focus on you. And at that point, I would reevaluate how you want to move forward in this new dynamic, right? Because at this point, I would highly recommend asking for space and separation, right? Maybe going into a no contact period for a certain period of time so that you can process, so that you can heal, so that you can really understand the situation. And during this period of time, lean on your support system. Come back to yourself, right? Maybe the reason for why the relationship isn't working anymore is because you've lost yourself, or they've lost themselves, or you're not the same people you were when you first started out and you were not able to remain connected and communicate throughout that process. So really, this is just a period of self-reflection. Forget the I love you, but I'm not in love with you, right? If we get stuck on that one sentence, it will be incredibly difficult to move on from the situation. Focus more so on what you need to do for yourself right now to separate yourself from that and start the process of really healing and really understanding and really coming to terms with what that means moving forward. So again, where that is coming from doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. At this point, it's about you. It's about focusing on yourself, what you feel is right for you in this moment. And if you no longer feel comfortable or safe or like the relationship is going to work out because that seed of doubt has been planted in your mind, listen to yourself. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. Take a step away. Right? You deserve to be with somebody who is willing to invest the time and the energy. And that does not mean that they're a bad person. It just means that they are not the right person for you at this particular time. They cannot provide you with the things that you need. They cannot give you what you expect. They cannot help you feel fulfilled within the relationship because they themselves are lacking something. They themselves are not happy or fulfilled or having their needs and expectations met. So the best thing that you can do is take time apart and reflect and think. And that may also give them the opportunity to really think about the situation and maybe come to the table with more clear and concise answers for you, which will in turn help you to gain closure, move on, and then maybe at that point down the line, you guys decide to give it another go, but just right now, it is not going to work. So take a step back and really focus on you and reevaluate your level of comfort at this point, now that that has been said. And if this is something that you are struggling with and you just don't know and you're wanting to try to make it work, but you don't know how to navigate this, I am more than happy to help you through that situation. I would highly recommend a one-on-one coaching session because this can be incredibly difficult to navigate. And I understand. Been there, done that. Again, I say this over and over again. A lot of the things that I talk about are experiences that I have had myself in my life. I pull the information that I present to you from the hundreds of client sessions that I have had and the people that I have worked with and talked with in similar situations as you. So you're not alone in this. As much as that may not mean anything to you in this moment, or maybe it does, you're not alone. Your situation is still your situation. The experience subjectively is still your experience. And it doesn't hurt any less, but sometimes it helps to know that we are not the only people going through this or have gone through this and have come out on the other side, and you will. And again, I am more than happy to support you through that process if that is something that you feel like you need. To make your life a little bit easier, I'm going to provide you with a link to a one-on-one coaching session down below in the description box so you don't have to try to search for it. You just click that link, go directly to the webpage and book your session if you feel like you need that. Again, I highly recommend it. And it's not because I'm trying to pat myself on the back. It's not because I'm trying to get you to book a coaching session. It's just It is incredibly helpful because it helps you to gain an objective understanding of the situation. And this is something that we do professionally day in and day out. So we have a very good understanding of how to navigate this situation. I have worked with many, many people before in this situation and have managed to navigate them through it and out of it. Whether it turns out that they are able to mend the relationship and build a new dynamic, or they decide to move on from the situation and are in a much healthier, better relationship now. Either way, I am more than happy to support you through that process. There is also a training that we have created that is incredibly helpful, and I have had a lot of positive feedback from clients and success stories from it, and it is our Moving On training, and it is something that I highly recommend you take a look at as well. I will also provide that link in the description box down below. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you're staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.